Hi, this is Kim Hallin. I live in the southeast US, down in South Carolina, and I wanted to just show you guys what I've done with my really small 3-acre farm over the years. I don't have a track system here. I didn't opt for that early on, and I haven't gone that route. But I have organized and designed the farm so that it maximizes flow and movement and a variety of what I call micro environments for the horses, and has a lot of enrichment, and it gives me a lot of flexibility in how I manage the property as well. So I wanted to walk you through it just in case gives anybody ideas. It could be used to complement a track system or augment a track system, or it could be an option instead of a track system. So let me show you what I've got here. I'm gonna flip this view around if I can. Okay, so here I am coming down the steps of my porch. What I have here is 3 acres that has a complete perimeter fence all around the outside. And actually I think I'm gonna go up and start at the front of the property for you. So I'm in the yard right now, but every little part of this property has been maximized for the horses. I live in the house, but the rest of the property is for the horses. So this is actually my driveway in. I have a gate at the end, but the driveway is also used as an area where the horses have access. So I'm gonna stand at the top of the property and just kind of look in. I have a long, thin 3-acre property, and sometimes we have wet periods and sometimes we have really dry periods. Right now we're in a bit of a drought, but sometimes we get a lot of rain, and this property does hold water a little, but it drains also pretty quickly. So this is the road, this is the gate at the top of the driveway. If you look back in, my house is kind of at the center of the property, and it's part of the design actually. So I keep this fence at the driveway closed so that there is perimeter all around the whole property, so I can open everything up inside and the horses are still contained. So right here you see there's a gate right here, a small gate. This goes into my largest pasture, which is probably about 1 acre. There's some trees in here, and I can put hay stations out here, things like that. So this is really their primary grazing area. And it's not just for grazing, because it's 3 acres and I don't have a ton of grass for them, but it allows them to exhibit natural herd grazing behavior. And there is actually something to that, the way that they pattern their bodies and have flow while they're grazing. This is an area where they can do that as a whole herd together. So then we have this, like I said, the driveway. On the right is a smaller little paddock pasture. Right now this is resting, so I have it closed off. I've planted some winter rye. Because of our drought, it's not really growing that well, but this is another little grazing area. It's kind of long and thin, and they can access this little paddock usually through this gate. So you can already see, they can come through that pasture, come through this little gate, come down here, come through this little gate, or go down the driveway. So they have options of how they can flow. And sometimes I put hay stations out in this pasture paddock. It's not really big enough to be a pasture. It's probably 1/2 acre total. There is a run-in shelter in this paddock on the right. And there's also, I'll show you down here. So we're still coming down the driveway, the big pastures on the left, little pastures on the right. And you can see I have a fence here that's kind of, I think you can see it, it's gapped in the middle. I can close that off if I want to. When I have new horses coming in and they're in quarantine, which doesn't happen that often, but this gives me an area where I can separate horses with a fence in between, or separate horses for feeding, things like that if I need to. Right now it's just open because I'm not really using it, but it's a flex space. So it also gives them, it's kind of fun to come, through that. It's not a small area, but this gives them a chance to practice personal space and, going through a passageway where they can't all go together. There's also big shade to an oak tree here. I have a water station inside this paddock. And then there's another gate down here. So they can enter this paddock either way down there at the end of the driveway and come through, meander around, and then they can come out this gate. Again, I have this closed off right now because I'm resting that pasture. So just to get a look back, there's the driveway. When they come out this gate, they can also go into the yard. This is my front yard. It's also a horse area. There are some different kinds of plants here that they can, a lot of them are things that are not, I've planted that are not really palatable to horses because I like to have a little landscaping. Sorry, that's my Halloween skeleton over there. But these are mostly azaleas, and this is a crabapple tree. They don't eat this tree, but this is their favorite branch for butt and back scratches. And you can probably see the way that they've been rubbing on it. This is like the perfect, no matter what size the horse is, they can put their back and butt under this. And this is one of their favorite rubbing trees. So that's for enrichment. And in the spring, it also has beautiful crabapple blossoms. We're in fall right now. These are azaleas mostly here, and those are toxic to horses in large amounts, but they stay away from it because I always have plenty of other forage for them. I do see them nibble on it every now and then, so it may have some medicinal quality as well. Over here on this side, have a few more azaleas, and then this is a crepe myrtle tree, which again, they just nibble on sometimes, and crepe myrtle has a lot of medicinal qualities. They can access this tree in the summer. It gets flowers and berries, and it really hangs down, so they can access it from inside this front pasture or from the yard here. And here's another view of the front pasture. There's some nice shade trees. They're mostly different kinds of oaks, and they can, rub on those. I have a water station in the front pasture. This over here is a stump from an oak that we took out years ago, but interestingly, as it's decaying, the horses have been nibbling on this and pawing in it and finding minerals and things. So that's been kind of cool to watch. Okay, let me go around this side of the house. So lovely thing about the way the house is it creates this almost like a track around the house. So again, they can come out that paddock over there. Can come through here around the house. There's also a gate right here. They can go back into the front pasture if they want to. So that's another entrance in there. They can come around this side of the house. So this is like another little micro environment over here. They can come all the way around here, around to the back side of the house. Again, this is our yard. Right now, our cars are parked back here. But I don't mind. They can come around the cars. I left my water filling back here, so let me show you this. So they can go back into the front pasture there. This is one of my water stations that I left running, but my pig will love that because this is one of his favorite places to lounge and wallow. So there's another water station there. So from the backyard, they can come again into the front pasture here again. And that's my water pump there with the cover, my well pump. So that just creates another little obstacle they can play around. They can also go into the back pasture from the front pasture. So we'll go back in here in a minute. But I just want you to see I have lots of gates. I can open and close any of these entrances or exits at any time and create different patterns, or, give certain areas a rest if I need to. So again, this is the backyard. This is an enclosure for a tortoise that we have. They can come all the way around the house if they want. And they do. They love this area. More grazing. And then that goes to the front and down the driveway. So it's like a big circle around the house. And then this is another kind of grazing area. My septic is right there. So I've kind of put some things around that. They tend to stay away from that area, thankfully. They walk around it. But at times I put up barriers so they don't walk over the septic system. But have a little swing here. So this is shared space between the horses and the people. I do a lot of workshops and experiential learning here. So there's a lot of shared spaces for people and horses to be together. That's my feed shed. This is my hay shed. Sorry about some of the junk I have out. So here we go into the back. I call it a pasture, but there's not much grass back here. This time of year and in a drought, this is kind of all sacrifice area. It's hard to tell exactly. Those buildings over there are not on my property, so it looks like it's bigger than it is probably. But again, just kind of see if you can see where my fence is right there. So it goes back here. My horse trailer is parked at the back corner right now. There are times when I park that horse trailer more in the center of the pasture, and it gives them something else to go around, and they do play around that. There's some really lovely rolling holes here. A lot of this is dirt because they do roll in this area a lot and play in this area a lot. In the summer, more of this does become grass. So then we can go back here into the real loafing area. And right now I've got the hay stations back here. So they're back here. I just put these out. This is a lot of mulch and wood chips, actually, that a local wood chip company gave me. This area can get quite muddy. So here's Bailey. He's going to head out and do some exploring. I've filled this with this material that absorbs a lot of water and also gives the horses traction if it's muddy. Here I have another 10 by 30 run-in. I do have one part of it as a stall for right now because my older horse needs to be separated to eat. She also has anhydrosis, so she's got a fan for the summer. And again, for today, I put a hay station right in the corner. All of my horses get along well. That's Shiloh, my Mustang. He doesn't really like videoing or me coming up on him like that, so apologize. I was watching the video and not him so much. Sorry, Shiloh. So he took his exit, but I use these really big full bale hay nets. This one has rather small holes, but I have different sized nets with different holes. And these horses are okay being in a corner. These horses are all do real well together. This is my perimeter fence here. They can go, so around this run-in, they can go on this side. They also can go through there, or they can go through here. So there's some different pathways they can take. And they can also, Shiloh's coming back now. Sorry about that, buddy. They can go around this side of the run-in. So within this small paddock area, there's also there's almost like a little track around the run-in and around this tree. There's another hay station right here right now. But I can put hay stations anywhere around the property. I haven't mucked the manure for this morning, so you'll see some of that. Then there's another little back fence here. So again, 2 entrances into every area, and I typically leave them open. This actually is one of their favorite areas to just hang out under this tree and sleep, back in this corner. Often all 4 horses are back here. This is a flatbed that I use to collect my manure and take it to a local farm. Right now, this is parked close to the back. They could maybe get through here, but probably aren't. But a lot of times I'll park this further out. They can also go around this trailer. And I like having obstacles. I know a lot of people have feelings about things in a pasture that horses could get hurt on. But my experience has been, as long as things stay relatively the same and horses know where things are, then they maneuver around them quite well. I've never had, knock on wood, any injuries related to any of this, but it just gives them something to navigate and makes the terrain more interesting. This is another favorite tree to rub on. I have some stumps here. These trees had to be taken out because of disease. Well, disease or age, so those stumps will eventually decompose just like the one in the front. Got a little ball here. There's my pig, Bart. Another little stump. Hey, bud. You gonna say hi to everybody? What are you doing? He's eating up my acorns. So these oaks do drop acorns, which can be a little toxic in large quantities if the horses eat a lot of the green ones. But my pig helps to vacuum up lots of the acorns so the horses don't get too many. And then this is my back fence, and we're back to my horse trailer back here. I also have a little fire pit there. We do ceremony there sometimes. So this is my setup. And as I said, lots of different options, lots of flow, lots of movement, even though it's not a track system per se. It incorporates some of the ideas of a track system. So let me know if you have any questions. And I hope maybe this was, I don't know, if nothing else, interesting. All right. As a little add-on, I just wanted to show you a few minutes later, I still have the two mares, Tempo and Puck, are still back here at this hay station, but both of the geldings have opted to head out to the front pasture. Again, they have different ways they can get there. Not really sure, didn't see how they went, but both of them are out here in the front kind of cleaning up leftover hay from yesterday. Rayleigh's going to the water station out there. Shiloh's cleaning up some hay. So they remembered that there was some hay out here. I had hay stations out front yesterday, so they remembered that there might still be some straggling hay. I think Shadow's gonna come get some water now too. Nope, so a little hay on the ground there that they're cleaning up. So just to show you, so at this point, these two cannot see the two that are way in the back, and they can't see them. So at some point, you know, my guess would be the mares will come trotting out here to join them, and that creates, you know, movement. But it also gives them a chance. They can get mental breaks from each other if they want to. So a lot of times the whole herd is together, but other times different horses choose to be in different microenvironments even when they can't see each other.